camera. You give it, give it, off, give it, off,
give
down,
it,
down.
Give it. I remember hearing about Paranormal Activity for the first time quite a while before it actually came out. When people were talking about it in hushed tones and recounting all the crazy stories they had heard about it. Like how it was totally worth driving 50 miles to LA to see it because the government was gonna ban it in a few weeks for being too scary, and how some dude got so terrified he shot himself at a screening, and so on and so forth. It debuted almost 2 years before it actually came out in wide release, in fact, and was the subject of much rumor until Paramount decided to simply push it out nationwide. In the end, the movie generated enough interest to make it the most successful found footage film since the Blair Witch Project, even if the collective response to it was kinda, it was okay. It was followed by the generally more polished Paranormal Activity 2 last year. And of course this year is seeing yet another sequel in Paranormal Activity 3.
This is not simply about Kristen. This is connected to your side of the family. He definitely knows about it.
It's a simple formula. Make a movie for a few million bucks, release it at Halloween, make 50 times your investment back. As such, we're pretty much guaranteed to see Paranormal Activity 18 at some point in the future.
Okay.
But for now, we're sitting here this week looking forward to the release of Paranormal Activity 3, which is a prequel to the original two films that made such a stir.
We're getting out of here. Just get in the car and drive.
We'll find out if the thrill might be gone or if people still care about the franchise. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be nice to give you a little catch up on the films that have already come out. That's right, it's time for another Here's What You Missed on the Paranormal Activity series. The first Paranormal Activity concerns the nocturnal activities of one Katie and Mika, successful young San Diegans with a beautiful house and not a care in the world. Not a care, that is, until Mika decides to start filming their daily lives for no really good reason. Katie has an ambiguously defined history of haunting-like things that have happened in her past, which intrigues Mika to no end. Mostly because he's kind of a douchebag who seems to want to force whatever's haunting her to come out because he thinks it'd be cool, no matter what Katie thinks.
I think that's
I got a big one.
I think that's my favorite quality in you.
Her worst fears are confirmed by a psychic the couple hires to come to the house. And that's when it all goes horribly wrong. We're treated to a boatload of creepy noises, of course. That's in the tradition of any number of haunted house films. But then stuff starts getting really weird. Katie stands up in the middle of the night for hours on end without remembering doing so. And Mika's absolutely insane attempts to communicate with the demon that they suspect is haunting them ends in predictably creepy fashion. Footprints appear out of nowhere, and stuff seems to be coming to a head. Even though no one has been hurt, there are certainly threats.
Fuck.
And throughout it all, Mika proves himself to be a complete asshole who almost never tries to console his girlfriend and instead mostly ignores her, convinced he can fight a demon with nothing but a camera.
I don't want to leave. Will you stay with me?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It isn't until the duo learn of another young woman who is possessed by the same demon and wound up biting her own arm off with her teeth that everything really ramps up.
Oh, God.
The couple's dogged refusal to get a goddamn lock for their door backfires horribly, leading to a change of heart on Katie's part.
I don't want to go. I don't want to leave. Just trust me.
Whoa. You want to stay here and sleep in this fucking bed and get dragged down the hall again? I don't think so.
Which, of course, leads to the famous denouement and jump scare. Which in turn somehow manages to knock a camera around in such a way that it continues recording but loses the ability to tell time. Even though it was reportedly the ending suggested by Steven Spielberg, it's kind of dumb, with its reliance on CGI which the movie had theretofore been refreshingly free of. It's worth noting that this ending was one of 3 that were shot, and surprisingly was possibly the most upbeat, if you consider the original ending. And that would have been all she wrote on the Paranormal Activity franchise had it not made almost $200 million worldwide on a $15,000 budget. Striking while the iron was hot, Paramount quickly ordered another film to be made, and a year later, Paranormal Activity 2 came out. It's both a prequel and a sidequel of sorts, starting up around a month and a half before the events of Paranormal Activity.
I'm the evil step aunt.
Katie's sister Christy and her husband Daniel come home with a brand new baby Hunter, who's cute as a button. But unfortunately, the big bad demon from the first film wants a baby of its very own, which leads to complications, shall we say. First, their house is ransacked somehow, although the nursery is seemingly untouched. That, of course, leads to the father beefing up security and installing cameras all over the house, which is perhaps the biggest difference between Paranormal Activity 1 and 2, multiple camera angles.
Hey.
What are you doing?
What's going on?
Lights flicker on and off, baby mobiles swing themselves, and a sinister air pervades the house. And there's something in the basement. And if all that wasn't creepy enough, a father decides to record his daughter with night vision, which will of course lead to a bright future for her if she survives. The spooky events quickly ramp up with falling pots and pans, tiny little fires breaking out, and most sinisterly, pool cleaners with a mind of their own.
What? See?
It's set too high or something. I don't know.
No, I don't think the settings are off.
Doors slam shut on their own, babies start defying gravity, and a ghost lures young Hunter into the basement for an ominously unrecorded 5-minute interval. Of course, as the evidence mounts, the man of the house defaults into caveman mode, just as in the first film, as Daniel declares,
"The wind blew the door closed.
There wasn't any wind.
All right?
Sorry.
And I don't want to hear any more of this
Dad.
haunted house crap, okay? That's enough. You guys are driving me crazy. End of story."
Eventually, we learn what the demon really wants, and it's what we suspected all along. Thus begins the end game, which hits a high point when Christy takes a little tumble. With Christy now irreparably haunted, her husband makes a decision to transfer her demon possession to her sister through mumbo jumbo, without telling anyone but his daughter.
You never tell anyone. She's not even going to remember, okay? Martine says she's not going to remember, okay? And we're not going to talk about it, ever.
That leads to a night vision trip to an incredibly cluttered basement. The ritual complete and the demon transferred to Katie, everything's great. Until, of course, a month or two passes and this happens.
Particle board and no long delivery time. Cabinets to Go is the place to go for incredible prices on the best quality all.
6mm laminate flooring, only 59 cents.
Katie?
That about sums up the mythology established in the first two Paranormal Activity films. The third film purports to be about Katie and Christy's childhoods, but most of the cast of these films are credited as appearing in it. So perhaps we might get a bit of resolution as to what actually happened with Katie and Hunter. If that is, you can hear any of the dialogue over the din of idiots yelling at the screen throughout the entire film.
I set up my cameras around the house, right? I can maybe capture something.
We'll find out this weekend, but for now, we'll sign off from yet another edition of Here's What You Missed. We'll see you next time here on Screened.com.
Yeah, maybe.
It stopped working yesterday. We just sent it back.
Thanks, Rorie.